call the member for Durack.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm very pleased to rise today to second the motion from the member for Hughes because I am deeply concerned about the stability of our electricity system under this government. On this side of the House, we recognise that you cannot have a strong and successful economy without a reliable energy system. Given the importance of the grid, the Australian energy market operators' dire warnings of blackouts this summer and beyond should concern everyone in this place. This warning should be enough to get those opposite to reflect on their ideological positions. The Labor Party took to the last election a nonsensical promise to convert our electricity market from a place of around 30 to 35% renewable energy to 82% by 2030, which is only 7 years away. Now, I call it a nonsense promise because there was no roadmap then or indeed today as to how we will get there. The Albanese Government are determined to remove baseload power, such as coal and gas, from the system and replace it with solar, wind and other renewable sources. The Minister for Climate Change and Energy repeatedly claims that he is leading an economic transformation bigger than the Industrial Revolution, yet Labor have refused to have Treasury complete any modelling on its energy plan. Australians are already paying some of the most expensive energy bills in the world under this government, and this is despite their pre-election promise to lower electricity bills by $275. Yet it is clear Australians are paying more for the privilege of increased risks of blackouts. Now, I understand that Labor choose to ignore questions surrounding detail, but surely the prospects of blackouts are enough to get this government to acknowledge that they are putting us on an incredibly reckless path. How can this government possibly proceed with closing our baseload power stations? And what is their solution? To install 22,000 solar panels a day and 40 giant wind turbines a month, attaching them to transmission lines that don't yet exist? They also pay lip service to renewable energy projects up and down the coast of Western Australia. Many of them are proposed to be in my electorate of Durack. However, what they don't tell you is that this energy is probably not going to be returned to the grid, lowering prices, making sure we've got a reliable energy source, but rather they'll be used to create ammonia for export. As I ask, is this a hydrogen revolution or is it just simply a hoax, Deputy Speaker? We are told that this rushed transition to renewables is needed to avert the worst climate scenarios, including significant increases to climate-related deaths. Well, let me tell you, in Durack, what saves lives are very good air conditioners. Air conditioners save older Australians, especially in my part of the world where they have incredibly hot summers, but they're no good in a blackout. And as we head towards summer, let's hope that the WA Cook Premier Cook, doesn't need to get coal from Newcastle like he had to do last summer to make sure that we kept the lights on and we kept the air conditioners on in what was another hot summer in Durack. Another nonsensical element of this transition is that we are consistently told that weather patterns will become harder to predict. Yet this government plans to make our grid significantly reliable on the weather. On this side of the House, we understand that renewables are, of course, an important part of the mix. In fact, during our time in government, we were able to boost the share of renewables in the system whilst keeping energy prices low. We led the world in rooftop solar, with 1 in 4 households taking it up. But by going all in on renewables, you are setting the grid up for failure. A successfully functioning electricity grid does not exist without baseload power. The climate wars are over, but the energy wars have begun. And the only way that Australians are going to secure this victory, this battle, is if Labor moves past their radical positions on energy. What is needed is an all-of-above approach to this energy transition, and not ministers like Chris Bowen picking and choosing which technology that they like best and banning all the rest. We need all technologies on. Oh, I'm getting there. Don't you worry. Thank you very much. Including zero emissions, next generation, nuclear energy. I'm not ashamed to say it because it is a solution we all need to be discussing. We also need to recognise that gas is still has an important role to play, and that will continue to do so for decades. Not only does the gas industry, particularly in my state of WA, employ thousands and provide a reliable source of baseload power, but is also helping reduce emissions as countries shift away from coal.